across Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't understand why this is an
agree with
issue.
that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome to the Jeff and Bill Show. It is 8 a.m. on the in the Mile High City on this Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is a debate discussion show. I'm
Welcome. Hello.
MAGA.
And I'm
Billy's
the problem.
Independent.
I'm the issue.
We debate everything, including the color of the sky.
We will. Even whether or not pineapple should go on pizza. I mean, you name it and we'll go at it. It's fantastic.
Taylor Swift, all that stuff.
Oh, yes.
And
Blame Taylor for why we're doing this
you
thing.
are welcome to join the conversation and discussion. This is the only place in Denver radio that you can do that.
Yeah.
Most of the rest are just kind of text messages or monologues. You get to join the conversation here. Let's go back to Michael in Denver. Good morning, Michael. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, Michael, want to talk to you about the idea of going back to the conversation where you started with Kimmel and the original outrage. Do you think it was over the lie, or was your impression, because my impression was more about it was not respecting the recent passing of Charlie Kirk? Your opinion?
Well, it was all of the above, but it was
That's
a
fair.
lie. What he said was a lie. It was just an out-and-out lie. And he was just, Jimmy Kimmel just can't stand Trump, and he can't. There's no doubt about that. He's a hater. They're Trump haters, and Trump pushes back, and that even makes him madder. And it's been going on a long time. But my point is, it was financial more than anything. And Trump had nothing to do with him taking him off of the air. Nothing. It was all financial, and it's still financial. And I would predict that Jimmy Kimmel's days are numbered because he has no ratings. He just doesn't. And these affiliates they're not gonna put him back on the air. It's gonna be a money thing. The advertisers are already walking away. And it's just a money thing.
Now, Michael, I think you're right. I think you're right on a couple of things.
The grandstanders they do a great job grandstanding. I'm talking about De Niro and his crowd. Okay, those phonies. They're all phonies.
Now, here's the thing. Now, Michael, I do think that you can make an argument that Trump's government came in and put pressure on, specifically based on the statements of FCC Chairman Brandon Carr, because his statements were made prior to the suspension of the show by both Nexstar and Sinclair and Disney. He made this.
I understand your point. And I think he was more horizontally thinking about the public airways, and the public airways belong to the public, and the public deserves to know the truth.
Well,
not
here's the thing. Hang on a second, Michael, hang on a sec. Brandon Carr, though, I believe it was in 2017 or 2019, said the exact opposite of what he recently said. He said that the government shouldn't be coming in and was defending public interest, and he was 180 degrees away when it was the Biden administration that he was critiquing. So I don't really believe Brendan Carr on this one. He's the guy that wrote, from what I understand, not wrote. I believe he's the editor on the Project 2025 piece about the FCC. So I don't think that he's coming to this as a general neutral actor personally. That's personal.
And granted, you could say, well, we don't have access to it because it's so recent, is under the Biden administration, you have emails, you have phone calls between Biden administration officials and YouTube, Facebook, and X putting pressure on them. What you have with Carr is a public statement. We don't necessarily have calls,
but you also have consequences,
and emails,
which is important,
made to ABC yet.
Yeah, but we do have consequences.
What about the Department of Misinformation? What about that Biden Department of Misinformation? What was that all about?
Or they're going to use social media or use programs to flag speech they didn't like and stuff like that.
The issue, though, and this is the problem, Michael, in that is that they, from what we've seen so far, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm waiting to see it before I draw the conclusion. We don't have the Biden administration say, do this or something else is going to happen. And we do have Brendan Carr from the Trump administration saying, do this or the government's going to make this happen. So we do have
what
that.
What did he say, though? I think all he said was we could do this the easy way or the hard way.
Yeah, and then he talked about the idea that if stations didn't do anything, the FCC might need to open up investigations, and also talked about the idea of suspension. But later in the day, he talked about suspensions of licenses as well. So that is significant.
But that never happened.
But it is a threat. But Michael, you would say if the Biden administration came in and said, hey, YouTube, if you don't start pulling this stuff from misinformation that we have flagged from COVID and mask mandates, then maybe we will sell your YouTube channel out from underneath you, or we'll just cancel it. That's what I'm talking about. They're saying, if you don't do what we're asking, we will suspend your license. We'll take the ability of broadcasting away from you.
But we're not seeing it happen yet. So ABC's put... Yeah. They've put Jimmy Kimmel back on. Do you expect the FCC to respond? What do you think, Michael?
I don't think you're going to see the FCC. I think Jimmy Kimmel's going to. It's all going to take care of itself in the marketplace. That's what I think is going to happen. And it's all going to fly over, and that's what's going to happen. They got their moment of let's get Trump one more time. Robert De Niro, let's make a big statement, and let's do that, and it'll all fly over and. Are you guys going to talk about Trump at the UN?
Yeah, I was going to cover that as well.
We'll get to that one, yeah. Jeff has some personal experience at the UN, so we're going to get to that one. Also, and Michael, I will remind you when we talk about the idea of something happening here, and thanks for the phone call, is remember, Nexstar is the company that is in negotiations to buy Tegna right now, which is the local KUSA outlet. So perhaps, and I'm just assuming that, I'm guessing that maybe when the FCC chair says some stations need to do something or the FCC is going to start an investigation, if you want that same government entity to approve your massive merger, maybe you make a different choice. I've come to the conclusion as to why that's why CBS settled their defamation suit with the president. I can be wrong. It's my opinion. I think that's why they settled it, because they wanted the merger to go through. And I think part of Nexstar's motivation here is to make sure their merger comes through.
All right, let's get to news and comment with Blake Olson. Harvey, rest of y'all, we'll get to you next. Now it's time for Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Sunny in Denver, expecting a high of 68 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
We know that there were 3 fatalities, potentially detainees, not ICE law enforcement at this time, that there have been other injuries, and some individuals are in critical condition.
Spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin from the Homeland Security. At least 2 detainees are dead and 1 is injured, as you heard, after a shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. The shooter reportedly was found dead on the roof of a nearby building. An ICE spokesperson said no agents were injured. The FBI is responding to the situation. More from McLaughlin.
As far as the shooter goes, there was a self-inflicting gunshot wound, and he is dead. He's deceased. We believe that he was shooting at law enforcement and the detainees from an apartment building.
Unfortunately, all of us, a lot of us that is, could see this coming.
We've been saying for months that the rhetoric around our law enforcement, particularly ICE, the dehumanization, the demonization, has spun so far out of control, and that someone is going to get hurt or someone's going to get killed.
A lot of activity at ICE facilities, including in Oregon last night and this morning, as Antifa was trying to block off the entrances and also trying to get in there. There was also a deadly shooting in Parker last night near the city skate park in the area of South 20 Mile Road and East Longs Way around 6:35. A disagreement between people in 2 vehicles led to gunfire. Officers found a man dead near his vehicle when they arrived at the location. Police say a person of interest and the other vehicle involved were located a few hours after the shooting. Good news, though, the missing Boulder girl who was the subject of that Amber Alert has been found safe. 19-year-old Juan Brotado Lopez was detained for questioning, and the case is still under investigation.
I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
Okay, Jimmy Kimmel Live was back on the air last night, as the guys have been talking about. The former comedian hosted his first show since he was suspended indefinitely by ABC.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
No accountability, though. He didn't apologize for saying the assassin was MAGA. He wasn't. He was just telling lies. A couple of lies in there. Fake little cry there. DJT says he may test ABC again and sue them for bringing back Kimmel. And the Democratic royalty out there in full force this morning and last night. Start with Gavin Newsom.
That's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process, no oversight, zero accountability, happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country. And so I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill to address the issue of masking, also to require you have simple identification, to your point. I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me, I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. And so these are not just authoritarian tendencies. These are authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. You saw what Stephen Miller said last week. This should put chills up fine. Called the Democratic Party an extremist organization. Basically a terrorist organization, saying he's going after his enemies. You saw the tweet that Donald Trump sent out, Truth Social, basically telling Pam Bondi, I want these 3 people taken out. That's happening in the United States.
Okay, so he's ginning it up, getting the temperature turned up, getting going. Newsom, even though he's ruined one of the most beautiful states in the country, if not the most beautiful, and has just absolutely ruined it. And Haggerty, she's returned also.
We have got to stop demonizing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I think most of that right now in our country's history is coming, from the right, coming from people who want to dominate. They want their point of view. Writing out slavery from history, that doesn't make it go away. We have got to stop with the finger pointing and the scapegoating.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Less of her and him and them and more of this guy.
I'm really excited. God has blessed me with the ability to lead a Bible club at my school, too. So I really think that's really cool. And being able to just lead, sense, and pray is just a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, Daniel Hunt, one of Jeff's kiddos on the show last hour. That was awesome. I need some more sunshine like this, like the kind that Daniel brought us this morning. Amen. 47 is telling Arab leaders that he wants to end the war in Gaza. Trump met with leaders from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Egypt, and other Muslim nations on Tuesday, and said the Israeli-Gaza conflict probably should have never started. Ryan Ruth, who tried to assassinate 47 in Florida, has been found guilty. Ruth reportedly tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen after the verdict was read in the courtroom. He wasn't successful. Google says YouTube accounts that were permanently banned for political speech could be reinstated. The tech giant provided a document to a House committee Tuesday claiming it faced pressure from the Biden administration to remove content about COVID-19, but now says YouTube values conservative voices. Wow. All right, Broncos back to work today on the field as they get ready for Cincinnati on Monday Night Football coming up. 45 in Golden, 48 in Aurora, 49 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue.
Almost lost a finger or two over the course of our vacation thanks to a circular saw.
Yeah, I forgot that happened. Had to just play it real quickly there. Blake Olson.
Balake. Where is Balake at? Yes, sir.
My name's Blake.
News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast today, a lot quieter over the Denver metro. Mostly sunny skies and highs in the upper 60s. Clear tonight, upper 40s and low 50s. Winds remain light in a Thursday morning where the sunshine will continue. Highs tomorrow in the upper 70s, low 80s with lower 80s on Friday. Little cooler on Saturday with a weak frontal boundary, but keeping it dry through much of the weekend. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, dependable service, call 720-851-1691 or visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. The phone lines remain hot regarding Jimmy Kimmel and his mea culpa last night. Let's go to Harvey in Littleton. Good morning, Harvey. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you? What's on your mind?
I just wanted to call out. I think it's hilarious, from a millennial perspective. None of us really care about Jimmy Kimmel. So listening to all of this dialogue, maybe we heard of him from The Man Show that our dad was watching, but or Adam Carolla, right? And more conservative podcast lanes now. But it's just interesting because we consume way more Joe Rogan than we would ever listen to a clip of Kimmel. And it's honestly depressing because the ironic part is you put Kimmel and Charlie next to each other, and that's how most people are consuming media now through social media. And the clips are disparately different. One was driving unity, hope, change, right? You could, I know that's hard to say with the Obama, look back that we had back in the day, but the other, Kimmel, just driving a ton of divide. And it's like, I'm not shocked that Kimmel said the things he said because I could see my own parents probably believing the things on CNN that he himself and his team believes that they write. So we all live in an echo chamber. I just think it's hilarious that in some facet this is pulled away from the things that really matter right now after Charlie's death.
Harvey, you bring up a really important point, and that is the fact that the technological changes are impacting how people view all of this, right? Because you and me, and I'm like the oldest millennial there. I'm like the first year millennial. I graduated high school in 2000. But the notion that the government could come down and shut down your broadcast when you have X accounts, YouTube, TikTok accounts where people say curse words all the time. We're limited on the amount of words we can say here. There is a dynamic of how the government had power over broadcast versus total freewheeling that takes place on a lot of the social media. And then you did have, during the last administration, efforts to shut down social media. So part of all of this conversation is how the mediums are changing in themselves, which you point out, Harvey.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that I wish that from a conservative lens, we would do a better job of being honest about that, right? Like, we know for a fact that the comments made around the FCC pressing to shut him down, I'm sure it had influence. Google coming out today is a prime example of that being a fact, that the government has influence that drives change in corporate America. But the reality is, even if they have influence, it doesn't matter. Like, we should be focusing and taking the higher road on the fact that from a conservative landscape, Charlie would have wanted us to let him speak, let him say what he wants to say. We could care less of the Donald Trump administration or, the FCC coming down in that lane trying to shut it down. Do whatever you want, right? We're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna consume the media we know that is helping drive a better America, and that's really what MAGA should be focused on. And admit, like, yeah, Donald Trump shouldn't have done that. Just like we shouldn't, go after people for burning the flag. Like, lean in on the fact that after everything that happened to Charlie, there was vigils, there was good things happening. That's the example you set. You have to take the high road. We can't fall into this, everybody in the morning I was listening to, I was working out, like getting upset, he's lying. It's a lie. And they're not doing it. It's like, guys, just admit what it is. It is what it is. But then just take the high road and teach people the right path.
Yep. Harvey Littleton, great call.
Yeah,
Sure,
Harvey,
appreciate
thanks.
it.
That's great.
Harvey's line will be open 303-696-1971. Let's go to Steve. Good morning, Steve. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Morning, guys. Hey, so do we still talk about the FCC?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Go for it.
All right, so I'm 55 years old. I remember back when I was in high school, we used to watch ABC, NBC, CBS news shows. I remember when The View first came out, they always had a very strong conservative female on their panel. That's gone. When is everybody going to understand it is the president and his administration's job to secure the safety of his people? Whether Carr said something that people think is wrong, it is also their job to secure the safety and the best interest of the people that listen to the public stations or TV shows. He didn't flat out say what he was going to do. He just said they have means, which they do. I mean, you guys know that. You're a publicly broadcast. You know what can happen when you cross the line. Why is this even honestly a topic? I mean, that's what's happened to the United States over the last 30 years. I mean, Charlie Kirk talked about all the time how the universities have been brainwashing students with a certain kind of professors, preaching their own religions and stuff like that. When is our country going to wake up and realize how great we were and how free we were? It honestly makes me sick. And Charlie Kirk was like, it was just so sad.
And Steve, you bring up the FCC's responsibility to the general welfare that they have with regards to their broadcast licenses. And I find, Bill, this fascinating. I know you're working on tech issues. Maybe you don't have the ability to jump in. But
No, yeah.
You are a broadcaster. I'm kind of new to all this. So Carr and FCC people, chair people claiming the importance of the importance of general welfare, of the public interest standard. And this call is fascinating in light of the previous call from Harvey, who's like, no, we get all our stuff from podcasts anyways, which don't have to abide by that public interest standard. So is that part of all of this, the notion of public interest standards?
Well, I think it's... Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead, sorry, Bill.
No, go ahead,
Bill.
No, Steve, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
All right, so as soon as YouTube came around, as soon as TikTok came around, I could see through my Gen Z daughter, who she is a diehard Republican, but the stuff she would share with me, I mean, I hate to say it, I mean, the internet is almost like the devil incarnate, because the kind of things you can get influenced there, I just feel that we need to, when we have the ability to protect our people, we need to do that. And
now, when you say protect our people, what do you mean by that, Steve? What do you mean by protect the people? And tell me how you feel that the FCC or the government needs to be involved in that, because we're talking about the idea of speech. So is that where we're going with this? Or, I mean, where are we going with this?
Well, it incites, what's going on is it incites violence. I mean, nobody burned cities after Charlie Kirk. And if you haven't seen
But Steve, to be fair, though, that's a totally different example. It's not even close. And what I mean by that is that George Floyd was killed by the state when Charlie Kirk was killed by an individual. That is a different example. That's totally different. When George Floyd's death has been the result of someone wearing a police badge and an American flag on his shirt, that he signed up to do a job. That's different than an individual, whatever they did to get radicalized, picking up a firearm and taking shots at someone else and killing them. Totally different.
Well, I do agree with that part. my whole part is when you allow statements like calling President Trump Hitler, calling his people Nazis over and over and over again, that's going to send a message to some people that might not be stable. I mean, how many times were we told when we were kids, you don't call a kid fat.
Well,
don't make fun of that.
Here's the thing, Steve, and I agree. I agree with where you're going because I mean, we asked this in the wake of Charlie Kirk, and I'd love to have your opinion on this one. Is that in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death, Jeff and I talked about when one side is saying that MAGA are Nazis and Trump is Hitler, and they're trying to, turn this company into a fascist regime. And the other side is saying that the Democrats are communists and Marxists that are bent on destroying America and tearing this country down. The question I would have is, why wouldn't someone pick up a firearm? If we truly talk about each other that way on both sides, and we truly believe that your political opponents are trying to tear down this American nation, this grand democracy experiment, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you pick up a firearm and start shooting at people? Regardless of the side you're on, man, but what do you think about that?
I can see that point of view. What I would say is, like my mother-in-law, she's 69 now. Me and her we watch The Five pretty regularly. And whenever Harold is on there, it really opens our eyes to the true Democrat. He's very, moderate. He's very truthful when he sees lies. And I think it always comes up. It's the extremes on both sides. I mean, it isn't right to sit and say that every single first person that voted blue is a communist and every single person that voted red is a Nazi. I mean, I don't know where to go with it.
Yeah,
Steve,
you guys. That's the thing, man. What do you think?
I'm worried about our country.
I am too, man. And here's the thing. I think you and I are real close on this one because I'm worried about it too, that when we start describing our political opponents in those type of extremes, how do you ever sit down and have a conversation? How do you ever sit down and say, hey, we need to fix this thing if we've decided that the other party are these lunatics that are, bent on destroying America over and over again? Why would you ever talk to them or have any discussions with them? What I'm worried about, Steve, is it's giving us permission to ignore the other side. It's giving us permission to not have conversations and to deal with uncomfortable truths. It's giving us permission to just hate each other and take whatever actions we can in order to save the country we love.
Steve, great call.
Thanks,
sure
man.
Appreciate it. Steve's line will be open 303-696-1971. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Phone lines continue to be hot. We're all talking Jimmy Kimmel's mea culpa last night. What'd you think of it? Let's go to Lionel in Leadville. Good morning, Lionel. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, morning.
Hi, good morning. You guys got a good show. I just wanted to say something a little positive today. You know, Heavenly Father says vengeance belongs to him and that we should, be peaceful and helping each other. And I think that's what Jesus wants, and that he'll repay for all this. We're supposed to be spreading the gospel and loving one another. So
that's a really good reminder, Lionel. Lionel, you're in one of my very favorite cities. How's the weather up there? Are you guys getting any snow yet?
Oh, it's a little wet, but it's beautiful as always. The colors are going a little early this year.
That's interesting
to
hear.
A lot of visitors.
Now,
Yeah,
Lionel, because I'm fascinated with Leadville and the history of Baby Doe Tabor and Horace and the Matchless Mine and all that, what brought you to the city of Leadville?
Well, I've been up here since 1978, and it was just a job that I came up. I'm retired now, but and I've been here ever since. I come down to the city once in a while.
And you broke up a little bit there on the job.
I'm sorry.
Did you? No, it's not your fault. Did you work up there in that molybdenum mine?
Yeah, we are cutting out a little bit. Yeah, I worked up here for most of my life. So I just decided to stay here.
Very cool. Well, Lionel,
wonderful.
your reminder this morning is why Christian values and faith and is so important to our culture, because it does temper down the passions. That to be reminded, as is taught in the Bible, that vengeance is mine, says the Lord. It reminds all of us that ultimate justice doesn't come here, it comes later, but justice does come. And
That's
Lionel,
right. We should help each other.
Great call, sir.
Oh, that's great,
the
Lionel.
fact
Thank
you,
you, man.
Lionel, 92 years old,
So impressed.
listening to us in Leadville, that just made my day.
Me too, man. Thank you so much. That was so
Wow.
cool. That is awesome.
So cool. I love that. Man,
I'm
my
just so
mind
impressed
is going to go down rabbit holes because I love the history of Leadville.
I do too. And see, the thing is that I love the mountains of Colorado, and I've always thought about how wonderful it would be to retire there. Now, I have family members that live in Dillon, and they are in their mid to late 80s. And the fact that they do so well. And
in
again,
the winters.
Oh, they send us pictures, and it's like 5 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And he still gets out there and runs the
shovels
snowblower and gets it done. And sometimes it is the shovel on the walks and stuff. And I'm so impressed. And I just, the idea of doing the winters at that age.
great.
But I'm so impressed.
Let's go to Barney in Denver. Good morning, Barney. Always
Hey,
great to
Barney.
hear from you.
Hey, do we call you Junior now? Is that what that old guy just called you, was Junior?
That is great.
That was awesome. I'm not even going to argue with Lionel, but I'm not there like the vengeance. Nope, that's mine. But I do want to. Well, wait a minute. Keep me on script. We're on a script, right?
Yes. You got your script this morning, right, Barney?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. Got to go
when
back to the
that
script.
When that guy talks to you about the script, you give him my phone number.
Oh, great.
I'll talk to him. I'll show him script, buddy. And I guarantee you, I can be really mean and nasty, and I will give him an earful. Trust me. We'll
that's
take care of
wonderful.
that one. But the name, first off, Jimmy Kimmel sucks. That's why he got cut. It was just ABC saw a way that, wow, we can let him go. The FCC, and for people to say that they're not involved, there were people on the FCC that really wanted to get rid of Rush Limbaugh. I think it is a real thing. And the people that are like that, they don't go away. They're embedded in the government. So I think that guy was an idiot, but he is a hack, like you said. With Biden, he was saying one thing, and now he's saying another. Brendan Carr. But I just don't buy the name calling. If you stood on here on this radio every day and told me to think a certain way, it's just not. It's not going to happen. I don't think. I believe that the mob, when the mob is out there, they're going to, they'll probably jump somebody and beat the hell out of them. I just don't see it with words. I don't believe that you can tell me what to do or what to think. And
Now, that's interesting, Barney. because that goes back to, and again, one of my favorite sages in all of mass media is Marshall McLuhan. And one of my top two phrases that Marshall has very eloquently said was that mass media is very ineffective at telling you what to think, but very effective at telling you what to think about. So what he had shown was that mass media is very ineffective at persuading you to take up a particular belief, idea, or position, but it's incredibly effective at telling you this thing, this event, this idea, or this person is important. That's how they shape a society.
Well, and I can see that because I've gotten to where I can't stand Fox. I like Gutfeld. I do watch or listen to the Five.
Yeah.
I can't stand the morning stuff. I can't stand Sean Hannity. I think he sucks. But they do get, you're right, they get the narrative out there, and they're really actually, to me, they're worse than ABC and NBC because they portray themselves as, hey, we're fair and balanced. You guys aren't fair and balanced. You're not even close. I don't know. It is what it is. But you are, they definitely get they get the title of the narrative out there, and then, yeah, that's all we're talking about. And then you wake up one day and you say, what the hell? And, I heard a guy this morning on your radio station. I can't think of the name of the show. It's a national show, and some guy called in and said the guy that jumped off the roof did not have a rifle. And I watched the same video, and it is true. So when they tell us, and then you turn around and say something like that, then I'm a whack job, and I'm just looking at something that's real obvious here. The guy did not, had he jumped, and Jeff, I'm sure you have a hunting rifle or two. You don't jump off a 15-foot roof and that thing doesn't thump you in the back of the head or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of things about the Charlie Kirk thing that we don't know. But once again, the country, you got to give it credit. Billy, everybody all over the world, they mourn this guy. I mean, what Charlie, I honestly thought watching Charlie Kirk, it's just me and a couple of right-wingers that watch this guy. The whole flipping world was watching this guy. It was a massive, huge influence, and it's even huger now that he's gone. I don't know. And that had nothing to do with media because we just loved him. That's all there was to it. We liked the way he argued and debated, and he was decent. He was always, these trans people would get up there and he'd tell the audience to knock it off, and he was very respectful to those people, even though he disagreed 100%. But I don't know.
Barney, I want to ask you a question here. You've got 400 people like Barbara Streisand, Ben Stiller, Tom Hanks, Chelsea Handler. They've all written an article or a letter, signed on to a letter saying that we're going to stand by voices and they should never be silenced by those in power because if it happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. Do you believe for 1 second that these 400-plus megastars care at all about free speech?
You already know the answer to that, Jeff. It's in the script. Hell no, I don't believe it. People are the best of the hacks. You got to give them credit. They are the best. And by the way, Tom Hanks, I'll never forget Tom Hanks. He disrespected Rush Limbaugh at a golf course or something. And it's like, you know what? I really lost interest in watching any of his movies. Most of these people, they live in their own little bubble. And by the way, if you're going to support Jimmy Kimmel, are you guys going to pay his rent? I mean, they act like this poor guy is just, no, we don't buy it. We don't like it. And you know what? Hollywood's killing itself. Hollywood and the entertainment industry. I mean, you got to admit, Barbara Streisand has a hell of a voice, but she sucks as a human when it comes to trying. You just, look at what's her name? Who's the Halloween lady? Tony Curtis's kid. What's her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. You know what? You can't listen to her and hear that came from her heart. And I think she's a fruitcake, but and we could go back to liberal leftists. Liberals are okay. You can deal with liberals. You can't deal with leftists, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. But Jamie Lee, and then everybody said, "Oh, Jamie Lee was fake, or she was this, or no, she wasn't." You could hear it in her voice. I mean,
and Barney, to your point on all of this, especially Charlie Kirk, is I think a lot of it just comes down to authenticity and likability. People are looking at these folks going like, I just don't like you Hollywood people anymore. Jimmy Kimmel is not somebody I would like to spend time with. He seems just, as you pointed out, a leftist that just becomes insufferable at a certain point. I don't want to be around these people. They get me perfect.
Billy, I can even hang out with Billy, even though he's made fun of my Amazon girlfriend. I could still go to dinner with Billy, right, Billy?
Oh yeah, we'd have fun, man. Yeah, but I will tell you, though, the thing is, Barney, that you put us, you and I, in some sort of a public space at dinner, it's not that we're going to fight. We're just going to do something silly. You and I are going to make a spectacle, but it won't be over politics. It's that one of us is going to go, it'd be funny. And you would go, that'd be hilarious. And then we'd get ourselves in trouble, and we'd get kicked out of the restaurant. And we'd laugh the entire time doing it.
Yeah, because you're sick and twisted just like
yes.
me.
Yes.
It's okay. And poor Jeff. And poor Junior over there would just sit there with his head in his hands, like not knowing what the hell to do with. Now, look, we do love you guys. Everybody out here loves you. And as far as scripts go, are you kidding me? You have to admit, and I'll admit it. I'm one of your butt clown callers. There's no way this is scripted. Like, you get the best of the worst out here. So, anyway, it's not. Love you guys.
Thank you, Barney.
Have a great day, my friend.
It. That's a lot of fun.
Great. He's always fun.
I'm absolutely going to clip that and post that to Ted.
Absolutely, and totally and completely that Jeff, you'd be sitting there going, guys, I'm not sure that we should.
Oh, yeah,
and
no,
Barney
I'm
and
the Mike Pence in the room.
Oh yeah.
Every time we go out, I had some guys take us out to a bar one time, and I was just like. My uncomfortableness ruined the entire thing.
Oh, and while Barney and I are like, I bet we think we could light that on fire. Let's see what happens. That's where we'd be going.
All right, we'll continue. Let's talk Gyrie's. Great company to work with. We've been working with their location out of Parker, but they're all over the Denver metro area. They provide professional design work for your home decor. Everything from Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters to paint, to design work in your house, to furniture. They provide a professional designer that will guide you through the entire process to make sure you pick the very best for your home. They'll even come out to your home and bring paint samples as well as blinds, shades, and shutter samples so you can see what it's going to look like in your home. And it's not going to break the bank, guys. They're totally affordable. We've been loving it because I'm like the typical guy. I don't really ask a lot of questions when it comes to improving our home. So I end up just making mistakes and wandering around those big box stores by myself. So when I took my wife in to Home Decor, to Gyrie's, and she was able to ask questions about our home decor, it was fun to watch my wife get very creative and have somebody that could guide her through the process much better than me. So you got to visit Gyrie's and get that same in-home personalized consultation that we got. Expert advice right there in your own home. Gyrie's.com. Schedule your in-home consultation. GUIRYS.com. GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people there. You'll be sure to thank me. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Phone lines remain hot regarding Jimmy Kimmel and the mea culpa that took place last night. Let's go back to them. Don in Colorado Springs. Good morning, Don.
Morning.
Good morning. Well, did I take it you had to watch the show or not?
But we both did it this morning, so because it's way too late for us.
Right.
So
and I'm not going to lose sleep over Jimmy Kimmel. It's almost like a moral thing for me.
For me, I wasn't either. I'm like, I'm not going to.
I mean, these days you can always get your producer to get the clips or whoever provides them. That's the nice thing about the internet. Well, the real problem with Kimmel is that basically these late night shows are basically becoming political commentary, just like talk radio and conservatives. But they dress it up in comedy, and half the country's not buying it. But the other thing I want to bring up is this. Everybody screams about Kimmel this, Kimmel that. He's his free speech was violated. That's not necessary. That's not true. He's not going to jail or anything, But here's the thing. Let's not forget about Roseanne Barr and Gina Carano. They said some things that were out of line, that are not part of the progressive programs. And did they get any redemption? No. The Connors had a good run, but in the end, they admitted that it wasn't the same without Roseanne Barr, and they admitted it was their loss and not hers.
Yeah, and what gets me, and I understand that there's a differentiation between the government stepping in on Roseanne Barr and other folks versus ABC just canceling because of what they said. But if you read this letter from these 400 artists that came out and supported Jimmy Kimmel, they say we also share the belief that our voices should never be silenced by those in power. Because if it happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. They don't care about conservative voices. They only care if Donald Trump does it. If Donald Trump's involved, well, then we'll get all worked up, and they'll claim free speech when they don't really care about anybody else's free speech. They only care about fighting Donald Trump.
Free speech for me, not for thee. And speaking of Trump, I do think Trump needs to put a sock in it with Kimmel and Disney. Let the thing go, because you know what? Kimmel's kind of on borrowed time as well as Stephen Colbert. If you're going to do an expensive political talk show like what he's doing, it's expensive. It costs money. It would be wise for him to kind of trim down and do what the guy who did the Tomorrow Show and the Late Show did. I can't think of his name at the moment, but I know he was on NBC and had the Tomorrow Show. And
I want to ask you this question. You bring up the old folks, the old way things were done with late night television and how it wasn't so political. Do we have those common shows anymore? Do you have the Johnny Carsons that everybody can tune in? Everybody in America liked it. But the reason I'm bringing it up because it was an important part of the American fabric. It was something that united people together. Do we have anything anymore in media that everybody wants to join to watch?
We're tribalizing. And let me bring up Mark Russell. People forget about him. At least he knew how to. He might have been liberal, but he knew how to try to mock both sides of the aisle. Not just favor one side.
And Bill, I want to ask that to you.
Bill Maher's kind of good at that too.
Bill Maher's
where he sits. Yeah, but you know where he sits, where he stands.
Bill, do we have those things entertainment wise? I understand maybe sports can kind of still do that, but that are part of a shared narrative we have as Americans that we watch and enjoy anymore.
Oh, and that guy I was talking about, it was Tom Snyder who kind of had. That's the kind of format. That's Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert should look to Tom Snyder and do what he did.
Yeah, I got a question
when he was alive.
Don, if Tom Snyder's format could succeed, wouldn't it? And what I'm asking about that is that we have all sorts of highly siloed media delivery and commentary. You can go onto social media and based on what you choose to watch, even briefly, the algorithm feeds you more of that. And so it feeds what your desire is as far as interaction. And so the question I've got is, are we looking for that type of Tom Snyder program? Jeff and I are trying to do something that is similar to the old Hannity and Combs. It's got a lot more FM inside of it and some other things we're trying to update. But is there a space for that? So far, we're finding out, yes, there is a space and an appetite for it. Do you think there is a space and an appetite for the Tom Snyder type of program?
Well, don't forget Dan Caplis and You Know Who. That was a Crossfire-style program as well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Hannity and Combs was a Crossfire-style show, too.
Well, Don, I appreciate you being in the Crossfire on this program.
Well, there is. There is some room. There's some room for it, but I think it needs to be built upon Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, that's the big announcement coming up. Jeff and Bill will be replacing Jimmy Kimmel moving forward. All right, you're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.